But I want to start with a story from Ric Bucher from Bleacher Report. The subject of moving LeBron James, however, was contemplated by the Lakers, a team source said. Week before, Jeff Van Gundy aired it when rumors engulfed the team at the February trade deadline that it was willing to trade anyone other than James to acquire all-star forward Anthony Davis from the New Orleans Pelicans. James's agent, Rich Paul, was widely accused of spreading these rumors because Davis is one of his clients. Paul denied to Bleacher Report that he leaked the Lakers' interest in Davis, but Buss being Jeannie Buss, suspected otherwise and was furious. The idea of terminating the franchise's relationship with Paul by moving James at least crossed Buss's mind. The team source said, and Paul was made aware of it. That prompted Paul to reach out to Buss to clear the air, and whatever ill will existed supposedly dissipated. At the MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference a few weeks later, Buss blamed the media for making the rumors public. What happened with Anthony Davis, what happened with the rumors, what happened with, and I said this at the time, it's very, very important. It doesn't mean that LeBron James himself leaked any of this info. It does not. But here are the rumors and the way in which they came out. At first, it was Chris Broussard, who co-hosts The Odd Couple. That's a show that you can hear at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific every time. Of course, Chris has covered the NBA for years. First rumor to come out was LeBron could be playing if it was the playoffs. He missed 10 more games after that rumor came out. Chris is incredibly connected, and he's not getting that from anyone other than somebody in LeBron James's camp. Right? Then there was Jackie McMullen, who reported that LeBron James would prefer a different head coach. Let's remember, too. Then there was the big rumors about potentially trading the entire team for Anthony Davis. What happened at the time was a coup d'etat. Coup d'etat. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with a coup d'etat. It's usually reserved for, it's like a military. The definition is that it's like a coup or an overthrow or a takeover, a regime change. It's a French term, a sudden, and it's considered a violent, illegal seizure of power by government, or a notable or successful stroke. No, that's not what it's a seizure of power, usually by government. But in this particular case, it was LeBron James. It was Rich Paul. It was a little bit like, wasn't it Independence Day, right? Where the aliens would come in and they were going to use up all the resources from the planet. Was that the movie I'm remembering? Point is this. LeBron James and Rich Paul had a couple of guys on the team that were Rich Paul clients. And they wanted a Rich Paul client as head coach, and they wanted to get the other star to be a Rich Paul client. And now all of a sudden, when Rich Paul has several clients on the team, they take over the team. That's what they do. We're rolling into L.A., and we're going to own L.A. When we mean own, we mean we're going to own the L.A. Lakers. They were not subtle at all. And you know what Jeannie Buss said? I can't repeat it on radio. That's essentially what she said. Now, it'll be interesting to see if this is all huff and bluster, because the next hire as head coach and the potential move for Anthony Davis, that will determine whether or not they still get their coup. They still get their power. Because she can act tough and say, hey, I thought about moving LeBron James. Like, all right, sure you did. That's the woman saying, I was going to leave him. But, we had kids to think about and a mortgage. And look, if you're going to leave, walk out the door and go. File papers, move out, get your own place. Now, I know there's also difficult logistics to trading him. Like, potentially, where could you move him? The Clippers, maybe, so he doesn't have to move to L.A. But even then, good luck getting any sort of return on the dollar. The best thing she can do is not hire a Rich Paul client as your next head coach and not trade for a Rich Paul client in the offseason. If you do that, you probably maintain command and control of your basketball operation. But And this is a large Kardashian-sized butt. Just because you fought off one coup does not mean you can fight off the eventual overthrow of your government. Let history be your guide. This is what LeBron James does. This is from Stephen A. Smith back in 2018. According to a couple owners I've spoken to and executives I've spoken to, Dan Gilbert, this is from Stephen A. Smith. Do I have to say it in Stephen A. Smith voice? Dan Gilbert is known for not being particularly fond of LeBron James. Sorry, that was my best impression. I don't do a great Stephen A. Smith. He doesn't mind the fact that LeBron James is leaving at all. As a matter of fact, I had one executive tell me, excuse me, I can't wait till he leaves because I'll get my team back. This is something that Dan Gilbert actually echoed. This is the exact quote from my sources that said Dan Gilbert said that. Dan Gilbert said, hey, I finally got my team back. Remember, there was Phil Jackson saying, hey, he and his posse, they come in, they think they run the place. They want to be late for the plane. They want to divert the plane. They don't want to be on the plane. That's how they roll. He tried to do it to Pat Riley. He tried to do he walked into Pat Riley's office and said, you ever think about coaching again? Pat Riley said, no, hasn't crossed my mind. Go play basketball. So all of this drama is why Kyrie wants no part of playing with LeBron. All of this drama is why the Cavs, in truth, though they won't be successful anytime in the near future, you own a franchise, like you want to run your own, you want to have power over your own franchise. That's what you want. And they don't currently have it in LA. The power struggle is real. See what I did there? Power struggle is real. It is absolutely real and fascinating to watch. And what a complete disaster in terms of PR for LeBron. It was so bad, it was so embarrassing that Jeannie Buss was like, no, this is my dad's franchise. We bought it off Jack Kent Cooke, and we brought Showtime to L.A. And sure, we had some family infighting, and I didn't think Jim was doing the right thing, so I took over and I hired a couple of guys. And we moved mountains to bring you in, and all of a sudden you think you run the place? Mm-mm. Now, we'll see. By the way, this is Bob McNair saying, I think he said the inmates don't run the prison, but the inmates don't run the asylum. Whatever. It's all the same. It's a saying. It's an expression. It has nothing to do with calling a basketball player, a football player, an inmate. It's a widely used expression, almost cliche. And the point is, players play, owners own. And we know LeBron wants to own a team. We just didn't know the Lakers were the team. And the Lakers, as Jeannie Buss has said, not for sale. Not for sale. What a fascinating story. What a fascinating story. And look, there's just a reality to it as well. Like, you can be super mad and go, we're going to trade LeBron, but like, LeBron isn't going to show up if you trade him anywhere other than maybe the Clippers or maybe New York. But does he want to work for Jim Dolan? How does that exactly work? Where else would he be able to play? That's the amazing thing about the whole LeBron thing is they're stuck with him, but he's kind of stuck with them. And they got to work it out. But Ric Bucher, who we've had on this show, I believe his sources are beyond repute, saying that a couple weeks before Jeff Van Gundy said it, I know Colin said it, hey, they should think about all options trading LeBron James. The problem is the reality to it is you just can't. Right? Like, he's just not going to show. You can't trade him to Oklahoma City, Utah, Minnesota, Denver, Portland, blah, 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 blah. Like, you just go through the list of teams. And the only possible destinations are the Knicks and the Clippers. You know? Maybe the Celtics. But even that, do those teams, I think the Knicks would want him, but does he want to play for their, will he be willing to move, which I would guess his wife would say no. But maybe he does. You know, I don't know if Philadelphia wants that. But what a fascinating, fascinating story.